Guys, welcome back to the 𝗵𝗂𝗰𝗲𝘀 podcast, where I interview industry leaders in the spiritual dating and business world to help men truly evolve their life. Just a quick shout out to our sponsor at the Self-Love Army. If you haven't gone to Self-Love Army on Facebook, go over there now and check it out. So our guest today is a very, very interesting guy. His name is Kristian Stephan-Martin. He's a TEDx speaker. He is an expert on sexuality, relationships, and he's also an amazing dancer. And he's coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. So welcome, Kristian.
Thanks, man. I love that intro.
You're welcome. So how about you tell the audience, because I know that you are quite well known on the other side of the world, but I'm sure there are a lot of people that might be listening to this who haven't heard your name before. So give us a little backstory on your life and how you got into the personal development and dating and relationship world.
Yeah. So my journey probably started, well, no, not probably, definitely started in high school. I'm not sure about like where you're from, but in growing up in country Australia, there's this whole stereotype of what it means to be a man, and to play football, to drink beer, to be loud, to be rough, not show your emotions, harden up, don't be a girl, don't be a pussy, things like that. And I really didn't feel like I was that type of dude. Yeah, like I loved sports, but I didn't play football. I hate beer, hate the taste of beer. And I've always been okay with showing my emotions. And so the very first kind of time that I can throw back to where this started was this idea where I wasn't man enough. It's like this story in my head that would just stop me, especially with girls, when I was 14, 15, 16, all the way to like early 20s. Like, oh, there's a cute girl. And then it'd be like, straight after that, the thought would come, oh, but she's going to say no because you're not man enough. You're not masculine enough. Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm not even going to try because I already know she's going to say no. But obviously that's just my own projection. And so at some point at about 15 or 16, I realized that I had created the cage. Because I created the cage, I also had the key.
At one point, I thought I was going to not be able to relate to you because I grew up and I was really into sports. I played tennis. Excuse me. The city that I grew up in, I was growing up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, so huge sports city. People are really into the four major sports: baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. But at the same time, I had a similar situation where no one was giving me advice on how to communicate, how to connect, how to open up, how to be vulnerable. So I went inward and looked around at other guys and girls connecting and thought, wait, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And I guess there was a little bit of interest there, but there was also a lot of fear that I didn't want to go down that path. I think I had a little traumatic, middle school relationship, and with no one to console me after that relationship, I just completely neglected dating or going down the road of connecting with girls or with women, at that time. And I've come to realize, though, that most of it was, though, just the social conditioning. And it was just a coping mechanism for fear and for pain. And when I got more into the dating world and started to discover it, it was kind of from a dark place. It was kind of from like, oh, how can I, be with the most beautiful girl? How can I have the most sexual experiences? Something like that. And it was always like a leverage of judgment. Okay. So it really is true what they say, right? Nice guys finish last, eh, Kristian?
Oh, that last bit just cut out. Sorry. What was that?
I said it really is true what they say, that nice guys finish last, right, Kristian?
Ah, yeah, this is interesting. I just posted about this. So, and I'll also add to this, right? Like, I was an athlete. Yeah, like I played basketball. I joined a professional team when I was 15 years old, like a local professional team. And I would have, had I chosen to, I would have gone over to America to play college. And I was a great student as well. I was a good student, and I was also like, part of the popular group. So it's not even like I was this little, gangly kid. I had things going on for me, but still it was so strong. This conditioning was so strong for me that I believed, yeah, the two things were, you're not masculine enough or you're not man enough. And what that resulted in, and I'll tie this into nice guys and stuff like that. What that resulted in was me cutting my balls off, basically. Yeah, like cutting my energetic balls off, or my cock, because what I would see is like these dickhead guys like treating women or girls really badly, like being assholes or like cheating on them, and then their girlfriend's not finding out. And so I, in a way, turned myself into a nice guy, as you said, because I would hear from girls all the time, "Oh, you're so different." Yeah, they're like, "You're so different. You know, like you're really easy to talk to, or you're not like the other guys." And so that would just solidify that. But as they told me that, I would have to like fit more and more into that mold, and and that was a mold that I didn't really want to be in. Um, so yeah, if I just go off what you said last, nice guys finish last. So I don't hold that to be true, not the truest thing. What I hold to be true is that when guys can only be nice, that's when they finish last. Because, like, uh, by appearances, you're a nice dude. All the men that I work with, they are nice guys. Yeah, like they are good-hearted men, and that's what we need more of in this world. I believe that's what women want to be in relationship with. But most guys, most nice guys have cut off their primal nature. Like they've cut off their dark masculine, they've cut off their beast, they've cut off like the part of them that can like ravish and take a woman and like, help her submit, help her surrender. So it's not about if you don't be nice. It's like be nice. You can be nice and from the heart, and connect to your balls, connect to that beast inside.
You know, that will tie us into our next subject, but I just want to first make a point that there's a difference between being a nice guy and being a people pleaser. So,
Yeah.
This genuine, strong-hearted male is able to connect with women, okay, from a place of empathy. I call it dominance through empathy, is what I've been really focusing on this year. And that can come off in a way that women will fall in love with you, but they'll also, have a lot of respect for you. Okay. And it'll be coming from a good place because you won't be doing it to manipulate. You won't be doing it just to show off. You'll be doing it because you actually understand connection. You actually understand love. You actually understand these deeper concepts when it comes to dating and when it comes to, balancing. And we're going to get into this more, the masculine and the feminine. But before we get into that, I think one of the reasons why this nice guy finish last culture has become so prevalent is, highly integrated into your, claim to fame, which is the penis society. And I was listening to your TED talk, and it was really interesting. So I'm not going to steal your thunder. How about you drop the 5 Ps so that the audience can hear what they are, and really relate to them, because it's so true with people wanting to, get a lot of money and, succeed quick and fast, and what's the productivity hack, and how do I optimize my sleep, and how do I, it's just a race. We live in this rat race society. So go for it.
Yeah. Did you find my TED Talk, or did I send it to you?
I found it.
You found it? Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a fun talk. I would do many things differently, but it was still fun. So just before I speak about this, what lens do you want me to relate it to? Do you want me to relate it to just men, society, like what?
Yeah, let's talk about society, okay? Because I see a lot of connection, right, between business and dating, all right? And those 5 Ps that you talked about, okay, correlate to not only the dating world, but also the business world, okay? Where people are looking for the best and the most and the, fastest, all right? And then they get into these traps where they think that it's going to be free. They think that it's going to be a dream. And in reality, it's a trap or a nightmare.
I love that, man. You speak very eloquently. Okay, so the 5 Ps of modern society, or as in my TED Talk, I said, welcome to the penis society. And so I open by saying, welcome to the penis society, because to me, a penis or cock is representative of the masculine, the masculine as the energy of our inner masculine, which is typically results based. Yeah, like task, we're focused on a task. How can we get it done? What resources do we need? What timelines, structures, systems? Yeah, it's like, if that's the end result, what do we need to do to get there? So anyway, the 5 Ps are pace, productivity, performance, profit, and progression. And so pace, it's like, how fast can we make this thing happen? Like you said, we're in a race. Yeah, how fast can we do it? We're inventing this thing. Can we do it in a week? Yeah.
Your ideal girlfriend in 90 days.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like your dream relationship in like 3 dates. Like shit. Productivity, especially when we're talking about society, is like trying to squeeze the most out of someone. Yeah, like especially our time. Like, how I want to be more productive. I'm procrastinating too much. Like, how can I be better with my sleep? How can we make our time more efficient? But which is not bad. We're just obsessed with it to an extreme point. Progression.
Yeah. Maybe we need to wake up at like 3 a.m. Like 𝘗𝘂𝗰𝗲𝘃 can take a picture of our watch at 4 with the sweat rolling down after that crazy gym session, which I got nothing against. I'm sure that's highly effective, but is it necessary for everyone? Is my question.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. One sec. Yeah. So the next one, progression, like always trying to innovate. Yeah, and have better. Yeah, like, oh, we made the iPhone 11 this, but wait till you see the iPhone 12. And I like the parallels that you are drawing between business and dating, because it's like, I work with a lot of guys who they come in and then they say, I'm dating this girl and she's great, but I have this part of me which is like, well, what if I can find someone who's better? Generally hotter is what they actually mean. So yeah, it's like progression. Like, can we make that thing better? Can we innovate more?
Yep.
Then
and with that being said, so we'll start to hit these goals, okay? Like we'll start a business, we'll get our first few clients, all right? We'll get into that, relationship, all right? And then it's like, oh no, I want to do better. Oh no, I want more clients. I've got to scale. I've got to do this. And
Yeah.
a part of me says yes. When you realize that you are stuck, that you're not making um, progress anymore, and that you're not innovating and you're not changing, well, then at that point, you should go back to the drawing board. Okay. Maybe break up with your girlfriend, maybe change your direction or pivot in your business. All right. But you don't need to force it.
Yeah.
It should come naturally. It should come after a little bit of deliberation and a little bit of internal questioning, rather than just, the shiny object syndrome clickbait. Oh my God, I've gotten 3 clients, but now this guy says I can get 10 in 1 month. Or, I've got this girl, but this coach says I can get 10 dates in the next 30 days. So, you know what? Fuck that girl. I'm going to go and get 10 dates in the next 30 days.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I like how you're pulling apart what I say and giving some really cool examples. All right, so the next one is profit. I mean, that's obvious. Like, geez, like, yes, businesses exist and need to make a profit to exist. And when that is like your sole purpose, it's really how can I get? Yeah, it's like a really like, how much money can I get? If we're talking about with women, like you just said, well, how many girls can I get? I've never been into the pickup world, but I know I've been in groups, yeah, like randomly added to groups, and I'm like, I don't want to be here, but I stuck around to look at some stuff.
Oh,
And it was great.
And you know what the number one question is?
How many numbers?
What is your lay count? How many women have you slept with? And I laugh at that question. I'm like, because let's break it down pragmatically for someone that might still be listening. Okay. So you could sleep with 1,000, men or women, but what if they were all toxic and abusive? Does that mean that you're really good at connecting? Or what if you just had that one beautiful person that you connected with and they changed your life and they elevated you to another level? They opened you up to new paradigms of thinking, of being, of relating, especially sexually,
Yes.
Then which lay count is more important?
Yeah, man. Lay count. Yeah, I was in those groups and I'm like, man, this is a group of little boys who are the age of men. Yeah, man, you nailed it. Lay count. Shit. So yeah, profit, really, like, how much can I get? And really that ends up being, how much can I take? How much money can I take from this person? How much money, how much sex can I take from this girl? Whatever. And then the last one is just performance, which is kind of all encompassing of those things. Like, well, it's your performance card, your scorecard. Like, you did this okay, but you could have been faster. Maybe you could have made us more money here. Maybe you could cut the expenses there so that our margins are better and stuff like that. So yeah, performance is really all encompassing.
I want to jump back real quick to the profits, okay? Because I've been thinking a lot about money lately. And you said you used to interview like 6-figure earners on a podcast you used to have. So I'm kind of interested, maybe we dive into this just for a few minutes. My goal was never to like make a lot of money. I don't know, for some reason, I was kind of in this escapism mentality where I just wanted to get out. I just wanted to be free. I was trying to find freedom. I was trying to find peace. I was trying to find clarity. Okay. I didn't even know what the word purpose meant at the time. All right. I think you might even have like an adverse relationship with the word purpose. And, and at the same point, I've come along this journey, traveled the world, had relationships, worked for other people, have my own business, things like this. And I start to realize that, you know, the line, money can't make you happy, okay, is missing something. Yeah, money can't make you happy, but it can change the world. Okay, it can change your reality, and it can change the way in which you impact society. Okay, so I started to see that if people, okay, are doing this, are trying to make a lot of money and profit so that they can give back, so that they can contribute, so that they can influence others in a good way, that, well, it's quite beautiful. Go on, make your millions, make your billions if you really want to. But then we've got like the social dilemma, right? And this is a little bit taboo, but where the profits get higher than the morality, where it's all about profits and moral compass just goes out the window. So
Yeah.
what did you learn from interviewing six-figure entrepreneurs on your podcast about profits?
Yeah, that's a great question. And for for other people listening, my podcast was called the Unbound Podcast, and for me, that's freedom to be unbound. Like there's no bounds, there's no limits, and so it wasn't just people who were making 6 and 7 figures. It was people who were making 6 and 7 figures from their heart. Yeah, like doing soul work or heart work. And a theme was that. Yeah, like that was fun enough. These people, like, I'm interviewing them because they make money and they're from their heart. But they made that much money because they were from their heart. It was not like the two weren't related, And definitely individuality. Yeah, everyone that I interviewed, I don't actually know anyone else in the world like them.
Where did you find them?
Well, they're my friends. But they all just seemed to have a high level of individuality. Like, do you know JP Sears?
I was just going to say. So what about the JP Sears example?
So well, he was the first one because he was an original mentor of mine in emotional healing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Elliot Hulse?
I think a lot of the listeners will know the name Elliot Hulse.
Yeah, so they were two of my first guests. Couple of other people, 𝗬𝘗𝘰𝘀𝘰𝘄𝘃 elder, a few women who are amazing. But yeah, I knew these people as quite close friends, or they were close enough to me. So anyway, that's how I found them. But yeah, like what I learned was they were really original to themselves. And I think that is important. And so I was speaking about this to someone today. I believe we have plan or dream 1A and then dream or plan 1B. And now what that is like plan 1A or dream 1A is like, whoa, like I want to do this, like that would be so amazing. I want to do this type of work with these people, have this lifestyle, make this type of money, have this impact on the world. And it's like, it's so strong. Like it's so strong, we can't contain the feeling of how much that thing means to us. But then what often happens for people is straight after they have that vision or that dream comes the doubts. Comes like, oh, that's going to be too hard. Oh, I've never seen anybody else doing it, so maybe it's not possible. What if people laugh at me? What if I fail? And I caught myself doing this, of course, so this is how I learned this. And then I'll make the vision a bit smaller. It's not completely different. It's not like I've completely gone over there, although some people do that. It's like it looks close enough, but it's actually not the thing. Do you know what I mean? It looks close enough to 1A, And 1A sets my balls and my heart on fire. And it looks close enough to that, but it's not actually that. Like, it feels good. I'm like, yeah, I want it, but I'm not fucking brought to life by it. And these people that I interviewed, they lived in that pocket so much of the closest truth to what do I want to do? How do I want to be in the world? What do I want to offer? And if it hasn't been done, well, fuck it. I'm going to try it anyway.
You know, I think that there's another layer of it that is like people just completely throw out the 1A, the 1B, and they absolutely settle. They settle for mediocrity. And you said on this like Revolution podcast, um, I'm not sure if it was by accident, but you were like, most people know what they can give. And I don't think that a lot of people do know what they can give. I think that a lot of people don't ask themselves the right questions. So they're on a totally different track. And maybe 1A or 1B is somewhere deep inside of them. But a lot of times, someone needs to help them to bring that out. Because when they're so conditioned to go to school, to get a job, to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and get into, this relationship which will lead to marriage and children and have stability and to, pay your loans, pay your taxes, all right? Don't, God forbid, you travel the world, okay, and you go broke or you go homeless and stay at some random person's house or take a hitchhike, all right, or start the company, it completely fails. Like, God forbid. But there is such a fear in the masses that most people, even if somewhere deep down that 1A exists, they don't really know what it is. And that's something that I feel like with this year, with Corona, um, a lot of people have been laid off from work. They've um, become disillusioned by the mainstream and by the news media and by the negativity for once. A lot of people haven't. They're still stuck. I know people really close to me. I can't even talk to them about something like coronavirus because it's just too painful to even hear a different perspective. But for so many, they start to ask themselves, all right, what if I started thinking about things differently? Or you get into this survival mode right now in this year where you can't fall back on just getting another job. You can't fall back on, just going to the store, to going to the restaurant and eating out. Okay, because during the quarantines, the restaurants were closed. What are you going to do? Order delivery every time? No, you're going to have to learn how to cook. You're going to have to learn how to start a business. You're going to have to learn how to do a sales call. You're going to have to learn how to actually text a girl. Okay, you're going to have to learn these skills and these traits that can really open up a lot of potential gateways that you're suppressing inside. So, what do you think? Do you think people really know what they have to give?
Yeah, I like that. I can't remember the context I said that in, but I love what you just said. Um, yeah, I think people think they know what they have to give, but there's there's more. And I agree with the stuff about Corona this year. Is it's made people stop and think. Like it's been a forced break for everybody. And maybe some people have been in massive survival mode the whole time, so they haven't been able to, reconsider. But I do know a lot of people who have said, yeah, like it really helped me to decide what I actually value.
It's like that break in between the dances. all right,
Mm.
where you dance like salsa and bachata, right? And I think bachata is a little bit faster than salsa, if I'm not mistaken.
Nah, salsa is generally faster.
Okay, so salsa is faster than bachata. Excuse my Spanish, um, but a lot of people are just unconsciously dancing the dance of life. All right.
Mm.
They're running around. All right. Driving to work, picking up the kids, going to class, doing this, doing that. Okay. But they never actually take a break in between the dances to really wonder, so what's my next move going to be? Who am I going to dance with next? And I've also started to really like that analogy that dating is, in a sense, a dance. I don't know, maybe business can be a dance as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah.
And since you have so much experience dancing, I want to get a little bit better. I have plans to move to Portugal and Spain, hopefully in the next few months. But since you have so much experience with the movement, all right, what have you learned about the dance in with the music and the dance of life?
Yeah, I love that question. First of all, I'm also planning to move to Spain. I've lived in Spain before, but I'm planning to move there in April. So if you're around, my brother, that would be a fun time.
Definitely.
So I'll bring this back to the 5 Ps. So that was all about the masculine. And my whole TED talk is about, I believe we need to reconnect to the inner feminine individually and collectively. And so another way that I'll put it is like the greatest of athletes, like, sorry, not even the greatest of athletes can go 100%, like for the whole match or the whole round or whatever. Like every single athlete, like whether it's soccer, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whatever, has to at some point get off the field and sit down so that they can rest. And the whole thing about the penis society and the 5 Ps and this hyper masculine drive that we've been indoctrinated into is we think that life is this linear progression. Like you said earlier, it's like, well, go to school, go to college, then find a girlfriend, find yourself a good job, and then have kids. And like this whole linear thing. And it's scripted. But life isn't linear. Humans, in my opinion, are the only animals that live out of sync with the seasons and the cycles. Every other animal on the face of this planet knows that things are cyclical, and we don't take that into account. And so, like you said, this race, this pace, this trying to go at one speed, trying to get there as fast as possible, as good as we can. But it's like, what if you danced instead? What if you learned that sometimes you've got to step to the left? What if sometimes you've got to step to the back? What if, even though you're the lead in the dance, like in salsa and bachata, there's a lead and a follow. What if for a moment you actually see if you can listen to her, and then your leading is based on you're following her. And that's one of the primary things that I teach people in dancing is like, don't think about leading. See if you can be so empty that the music can come through you and communicate to your partner in the moment, and pay attention to her. And so there's a whole heap of emptying first before actually leading. And if we tie this back to life, I think, like you said, people are always wondering about the next thing. I got my 3 clients. Okay, now I'm going to get 10. I've got this one girl, but I could get 10 dates. It's like, people need to stop. Men, women need to stop, listen, go inwards, tune in and see what's there, and then let yourself be moved. Let yourself be inspired.
Someone said to me this year, and they've got a lot of experience in dating and in business. And I was talking to them and they said, so what if stopping your business for a month was actually the best thing that you could do for yourself? And immediately this wave of fear came over me. And I thought, no, I can't do that. You know, I'm just building momentum. I've got these clients, I've got these students, you know, I've got so much to do. How can I stop? How can I stop and think? And you talked about it, which is such a key point. Okay, it's such a key foundational point, which is surrender. Okay, this one is like, this one's not so sexy. All right, it's really not, like, because it has kind of a negative connotation where we look at like the armies, all right, and we think like the army that surrenders, they're the ones that lose. And if you look at it like that, you've already lost. If you start to see that the more you surrender, the more you actually win, the more you actually gain, and the more you actually find clarity in your purpose, that's when breakthroughs start to happen. That's when things just naturally start to appear for you in your life. Because I talk a lot about it because there was this like analogy in the seduction world, right? Of push pull. You've got to give her like a positive and then a negative. And it's like, fuck that shit. No, you don't. Okay. What you actually need to do is just do some hard work. All right. Get into your masculine. All right. And then you need to find your feminine and you need to start to flow. But that's not sexy. Okay. It's much sexier to say, all right, how can I make a lot of money? How can I fuck a lot of women? All right. How can I get the perfect 10? Then when someone, you know, some coach comes along and he says, you know what you're missing? You need to be a little bit more feminine. Most guys are just like, no, I don't. I need to be more masculine. So how can we, and I'm going to propose this question to you right now, how can we as, you know, leaders in this, you know, industry, in this personal development industry, help people to realize that surrender and embracing your feminine characteristics alongside your masculine characteristics is actually the most sexy or dominant thing that you can do?
I think definitely one thing that trips people up is the words masculine and feminine. And I use that framework because it's beneficial. But you could also call it yin and yang, where yin is the feminine, yang is the masculine. You could call it fire and water. You could call it structure and spontaneity. You could call it goals and or goal versus soul. Yeah, like the part of us which is goal oriented, masculine. The part of us which is soul oriented and connected to the moment and just wants to have a good fucking time. Yeah, that wants to feel social connection, soul. So to me, it's understanding that like masculine and feminine is just two different words to divide us into two different parts, to use it to navigate the world. And flow, understanding flow, I mean, it's an individual thing, to be honest. Like some people use flow as an excuse. Well, it's just not flowing.
Oh,
well,
it
hasn't been flowing for 4 fucking years. So maybe you need to do something about that. Like maybe you need to get off your ass and try just produce something, put something out into the world. Oh, it's not naturally inspiring to me. So it's really about where does someone sit and how can they kind of come into the middle where they just have choice and discernment. I just think a great example is in sports, being in the zone, or in surfing, or just surfing, right? So being in the zone, you know, Michael Jordan is one of my favorite athletes. He was like in the zone a lot because of his drive, but when he's on the court, he's not thinking, right? I don't think so. Like he has an idea, but he's making instinctual reactions.
He's thinking subconsciously, which is like the highest level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so with surfing, for example, it's like you can't fight the wave. Yeah. And surfing is a great example because you can know what the wave is doing. Like you can turn up to the beach and it can be, you can know, is it high tide or is it low tide? Does this wave break left? Does it break right? But that's not the same as being in the water. And when you're in the water, the knowledge that you have that it's high tide or that it's low tide doesn't really mean a great deal, or it's left and right, other than, you know, some basic things, because like the ocean can change at any second. Yeah. And so like when you're in the water and you're surfing, you have to feel it. You have to feel it with your body. Like you see, oh, that person took off over there. That didn't work out for them. This person, you know, they caught the wave there. What happens when the ocean rises up over this part? That's not the wave to get. What happens when the ocean rises over here? And so there's a sense and a feeling, and this is the combination of mind and body, mind and soul, or feminine and masculine, to eventually, you know, catch an amazing wave or flow. Yeah, so that's how I look at it. I think that's a great way for people to look at it.
Yeah, I've been listening to this book, Your Wish is Your Command, and there were a lot of things that just came up in my mind from those lectures this guy was talking about. And one of them was that the most successful people, they read. Okay, and I'm actually going to tie this into to journaling, because we seem to think that this is all we need anymore. We just need our phone. We can read, we can write, we can text, we can send emails, we can get those dopamine hits. But, you know, there was this quote I was just checking out from 𝗵𝗵 𝘰𝘃. She was like, journaling is like whispering to oneself and listening at the same time. And you talked about journaling and how powerful it is. I feel like most people don't even do it anymore. Maybe they did it as a kid, but now they don't actually go out and just take a notebook out. They don't even remember what a pen or a pencil is anymore. So how do you implement journaling into your life, and what kind of effect has it had on your clarity?
Yeah, I love that quote. Who's that by again?
𝗵𝗵 𝘰𝘃. It's like she was like a heroine in Dracula.
Right. Yeah, listening to your soul and whispering at the same time. Yeah, I buy that fully. I feel so, they are perfect words, because it's a conversation with myself on paper. And I do journal most mornings, most evenings, but definitely most mornings. And I'll just have a conversation with myself. You know, if there's something I'm trying to create in my life at the moment, or if there's something I'm working through, maybe a breakup, maybe a hardship, maybe I'm nervous in my business about something that's coming up. And, you know, I'll have a conversation. I'll be like, well, I literally coach myself, you know, what are you nervous about? Well, it's this. Okay, so tell me more, Kristian. All right. You know, and then it's like, and then I'll flip, you know, I'll flip it, or I'll put in some encouraging language. Sometimes I'll just write, you're a beautiful man. You have what it takes. And so I really, yeah, I'm just talking to myself. I'm using questions and brain dumps to dig, to really dig to the root of things, and then pull it out and see, like, does that need to go? Do I need to let that go? Or I'll kind of plant the seed of like just empowerment and championing myself, which to me is what I call practical self-love. Like, a lot of people talk about self-love. Oh, it's canceling clients and running a bath when you don't feel good. It can be that, but to me, I kind of call that self-care. Self-love, practical self-love to me is like when your talk starts to rise and your doubts, and you want to pursue something in life, like you're hearing your heart. I'd love to create that thing. Or, you're seeing a girl at the bar, I'd love to ask, or a guy, him or her out. Like, you're a coach, you've got your clients and you're just starting up, like, I don't know enough, I need to be more qualified. To me, practical self-love is when I hear those thoughts, it's like, well, yeah, she might say no to you, and that's okay. It's not a reflection on you. Yeah, you might screw that thing up. You might not do it perfect. You might do it really bad, but it's actually your first time. So be easy on yourself, dude. Like, to me, that is practical self-love, is learning to champion myself and self-parent myself. Well, self-parent, that's evident. But that's what I do in journaling.
One thing that I've come to realize has a huge impact on one's self-love is creating healthy boundaries. And you said that saying no is actually saying yes to your truth. And we're going to tie this into our final topic because, we've talked about a lot of good stuff today and some of my interviews have been too long. So let's finish it off here. But basically, I want to talk about the culture of sexual shame. And I'm wondering your perspective, if maybe part of the sexual shame that a lot of men experience and women as well is due to the fact that they don't even have strong boundaries. They let everything in. They let in the society telling them that their dick's not big enough, or they didn't last long enough, or they're not powerful enough, or they didn't give the girl 10 or 15 or 20 orgasms, or whatever it is. And it's like, at what point are you just going to say no? No, I don't need to listen to that. Okay, I don't need to take that also so literally. And if there are people out there that are telling me that, part of my self-love is saying, I don't need you in my life and I don't need to listen to you. I can love you. I can still send you love, but I don't need to listen to you anymore because that is not actually showing me self-respect.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So boundaries, you really have gone and researched some of my stuff. Boundaries to me is what we will allow. Yeah, like the farmer has their fence, and on one side they have their sheep, and on the other side is everything else that's possibly out there. And it's like because they want their sheep. They don't want their sheep to leave. They don't want something to get in and eat their sheep or steal their sheep. And so boundaries is what we want in and out of our internal world or our external world. Yeah, maybe our thoughts, but maybe our actual life. And so I love to say this. It's like, imagine if you left your door open. Anyone could come on in at any time. Someone could come in, drink my milk, eat my eggs, shit in my toilet, and then leave. And I don't really want that experience. I don't desire that whatsoever. And so we have to have a level of boundaries because there's so much talk happening at us, get a job, like, no, you can't be an artist, you can't be an artist to make money. oh, you've got to have a big dick, oh, you need a, a respectable job, a doctor or a lawyer, because then you'll be able to meet a woman, or then you'll be of high standing in the world. All these perceptions, all these layers piling up on us, and we have to say no. Yeah, like we have to learn to just be like, I'm going to choose not to believe that, and I'm going to choose to ignore that, because that's not what my heart is telling me. My heart is telling me this, or this is my truth. I was going to say one other thing. It slipped my mind.
Kristian, the breakdown there, I feel like, is growing up, you're taught not to say no. You're taught to say yes, and you're taught to listen. Okay, listen to what other people say to you. Do exactly what the teacher says, and if you don't do it, you're going to be punished. And that's why a lot of people have difficulty crossing the road and getting to the other side, where they start to question everything, where they start to say no, where they start to say why, okay, where they start to figure out, all right, what is actually healthy for me, not just what my society or parents or teachers told me, but what actually my heart is telling me. And I know it sounds so lovey-dovey, doesn't it? So spiritual. But that's just the key. You guys, you want the key? Well, there it is.
Yeah. 100%, man. And the weaker your sense of self, the weaker your boundaries. So it's really about, that's one of the keys, is like deciding, I'm just going to back myself. Because like other people, they can have good intentions, they can have what looks like the answer. Maybe they've coached 50 people in the last month through the exact thing that you're going through, and maybe that what their solution is not for you. So yeah, I love what you said there about listen to what people have to say to you. If someone offers you an extra piece of so and so at the barbecue, say yes. It's polite to just say yes, but again, listening to the heart is a brave, strong path, because most people's hearts are speaking to them or trying to speak to them, and they're too timid to go down that road.
Beautiful. So obviously, if there are some guys still listening to this, they might disagree. They might not really understand, especially the practicalities of how to do it, because this stuff isn't so easy. It's a journey that takes place over a period of time. I'm not going to say how long, because it really depends on the person. It might just be, one conversation to completely wake you up out of your funk and into your flow. It might be 3, 6, 12 months. It maybe even longer. Maybe it could take years. So if someone is interested in going deeper down, this progression, okay, and this path, what do you currently do? Are you working with students right now? And if so, how could they reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. So, right now, I don't know what it'll be like at the end of the week, because I have some calls scheduled in with some people to potentially join. But yeah, right now I'm taking on a small amount, between 3 and 5 one-on-one clients. How soon do you publish this, actually?
It'll probably be in the next few days.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, but regardless, people can always get in touch with me, no matter what time, when they listen to this. So the best way is definitely Facebook, or Instagram if that's your thing. But yeah, add me on Facebook, add me on Instagram. I would really like to hear, like from any man, any woman as well that's listening to this. Hit me up in my DMs, slide in there, just say like what you liked, what you got from it, what you learned. And if you are looking for guidance, then we can speak from there.
Guys, Kristian Stephan-Martin just gave you permission to slide into his DMs. If that's not an awesome invitation, I don't know what is. So, yeah, my man, it's been really good meeting you, connecting with you, talking about some really important subjects that need to be highlighted more. And I think we'll leave it off there, and maybe we'll have another chat at a later point. You guys know where to find me, 𝗵𝗂𝘰𝘯𝘪𝘴, or on Facebook, David S. Goldstein, and we will see you soon. On to the next episode. Much love. Peace.